So Shay, I'm not sure if you were watching the game the other day, but I was just so taken aback what happened to DeMar Hamlin. So I didn't see the actual hit. When I turned the game on, he was down on the ground and, surrounded by a lot of players on both teams. And it was just a lot, for me as a mother of an
Mm,
athlete, my heart
mm.
just went, oh my goodness. And I immediately said a prayer for him
Me too.
because that's just what I do. It's part of, who I am. And I said a prayer for him, but I thought about as a parent, as a family member,
Mm.
I have an athlete myself and just thinking about seeing your person down and out, and now they're
Lifeless.
administering CPR,
Mm.
which means that it's it's real. Like it's a big deal. So I don't know. I was at the hotel because I was just that night. Phoenix Suns had played and lost to the Knicks, but that's a whole nother conversation for another time.
Mhm.
And I was watching the game, and I just was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening." Never in my years of watching football since I was a child have I ever seen anything like that.
Yeah, I remember well, for those of you who don't know, uh, the Buffalo Bills were playing the Bengals, I
Mhm.
believe, yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the game, but
on
my group
Tuesday.
my group chat, which usually breaks most news to me, because that's just where we discuss worldly issues in our group chat, and,
Yeah,
so my friend sent me in the group chat, and I immediately, when I saw what they were talking about, I went to go to Twitter to find out.
yeah,
And I immediately my stomach was literally in knots because
yeah.
to
You felt
see
sick.
sick,
Yeah,
and I was, immediately flushed and praying. I literally went into prayer as well for Damar, for his family, for his teammates. I saw them crying.
yeah.
I have never
Very
seen that many grown
emotional.
men crying. I'm sorry, that
Very
just was
emotional.
very jarring to me,
Yes.
and immediately, like I said like you said, I was praying, just, "Please, God." You never expect to go to work and lose your life, right? And we all
Yeah.
know football has had a lot of controversy when it comes to players and protecting them and CTE and they've changed a lot of the rules, with people have said, NFL's getting soft and stuff like that. But it's easy to say when you're not the one doing it. But what
Mhm.
also when I think about that too is like you see a lot of the football players commentating and on shows, their fingers are all messed up. When I watch Dion talk, his fingers and his hands, his toe got amputated. Like there's so many things that a football
Happens.
player's body goes through
Yes.
that
Yeah.
is a result of football. And I don't want any of my family members to play football. Um,
Yeah.
because of that reason, but I do understand that, this is a way for a lot of, young Black men to, change their families' generational wealth and things like that, and they love it
Yeah.
as
And they're doing
well.
what they love to do, right?
Right, and so you never
Yeah.
think that putting your all into this sport would cause you to
Mhm.
lose your life or to
Yeah.
have some kind of brain injury that you cannot continue your life in a healthy manner. So those are all
Right.
the things that I think of when I think about stuff like this, and I was just so
Yeah.
sad for all of everybody involved.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking.
I kind of share the same sentiments. And, for me, of course, I just went into like straight up mom mode and was just
Right.
like,
What would you have done? What
praying for that mother,
Yeah.
like you just can't even fathom
Mm.
that, your child is laying on the ground and you don't know what it is. Like you have no
Mhm.
context. All
Mhm.
you see is
Nothing.
that you're seeing kind of like in real time what everyone else is hearing, what we're seeing.
Mhm.
And you're not like, your motherly, those parental instincts kind of kick in. You want to run out on the field and I'm like, move, move, move. Like
Yep.
you remember when we were in LA together, and I'm not gonna say the player because I don't want any
You've
hate
said it
coming my
already on
way.
here before. You've
But
already said it on here.
a certain player did a little certain move on Mikal, and I thought, it could have totally injured Mikal, and I was ready to ready to rumble. And I, like, my just instinct, I literally went up to go run and Shay pulled me back like, T, you better not run your butt on
What
that
you gonna
court.
do with your YSL heels on?
Excuse me, when I run in my
Excuse
heels,
me.
I'm gonna kick your big ass for messing with my,
Right.
like, so it's just like
Right.
those instincts that you have. You just like want to run
Yeah.
and go to your kid,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and there were just so many people surrounding that you can't
Because
even
that's the
see.
love. That is the
Yes.
yes, you are physically connected to that
Dang
person.
room right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
That was a
I
lot.
understand it. I understand it.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
even though I'm on the outside, when I was on the outside, I was just like, "Don't let T do something she's gonna regret."
T is crazy. She's
Uh,
like, T, where are you going? You need to
right.
sit down. Like,
Right.
no, you don't be doing that to my son. You could injure him, but it wasn't, I don't think from what I understand, like I'm not an expert,
Yeah.
but I don't think it was the actual, a dirty hit at all. I
I don't
think,
think so
it
either, but
was, you
I did see that the impact of the hit could have caused it because if you watch the
yeah.
video, he gets to the spot, so he stopped. And the guy who hit him, I forget his name, the impact, he was already going. So you
Mm.
can't time that someone's gonna stop,
It's hard in the moment.
right?
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
gets to the spot and meets him there, and the impact of his shoulder, you could see it like he jerks back into his chest. And I don't know if
Wow.
you've seen those movies where um it shows you like what happens to somebody when, they get kicked, or let's say it's like a karate movie and it's like sci-fi. And that's what I went to in my head. I'm like, the impact of that could have done something, moved some stuff around that, the adrenaline and everything. And so when he got up, I felt like, that's when the body reacted. So I don't know. That was just my hot take on it. That's what
Yeah.
I seen when I
Yeah.
slowed down the video because I was trying to
Yeah.
figure out
Well,
the
what
hit didn't seem
happened?
that hard. And it
But
did
it could be
I
the
was trying to
placement. You
right,
don't,
right.
exactly where it's at. And I think what you don't see is like, you ever remember, like, I forgot what commercials they used to be, but they used to see like the force that comes along with like athletes and, with football players. So even though it didn't seem to the common, like to the, I guess, the common eye, that it was, didn't seem as bad as what the actual
Right.
end result.
Right.
But it could be like that force is no joke, right?
Yeah.
And depending on where it was and other things going on, it's like a jolt to the heart,
Yes. Yeah,
and
like
that,
shaking a brain or something like
yeah.
that. Like, you remember those commercials, those dummy commercials back in the day where it was like car crash? It's like if you drink and
Mm.
drive and it like ran into the wall and it was like all those
Yeah.
dummies.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
literally it's the impact in what
Yes.
severely hurts you or even, causes you to pass away is the impact.
Yeah.
A stationary thing and something going with full force, like you said, that causes that. So that's where my mind was going, was like, dang, like that's crazy. But immediately people were attacking the player who hit Damar,
It did
saying
not
that
appear to be
he should
intentional
have,
to me.
yeah,
I'm
saying crazy
sure.
stuff. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
too, and I'm sure just what has happened, that's a lot to know that you could have potentially critically injured someone or almost killed them.
yeah,
That's a lot of weight, so I think it's
yeah,
a good time to keep him in prayer as well, because sometimes, we talked about like what the weight on things could be with people, and some people can't handle that. So
right.
we got to
And
make
the
sure that
world
we
is
be
so cruel.
thoughtful about that, because God forbid, on just if it feels so overwhelming, what things can happen. So we just need to be mindful,
I
assume
agree.
positive intent. There are some hits where you're like, oh, that was dirty, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what upset me, and that's what made me mad about what happened with Mikhail, because it was just like a little kind of like it was intentional. And I
Yeah,
think when stuff is intentional, it's different,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
But it didn't appear to be intentional. But we will definitely continue to keep Damar in our prayers.
Hmm.
We're rooting for him, and we're praying that he has a full recovery. And I was happy to hear today that there's a little glimpse of hope that he's kind of
Yeah.
moving in the right direction still, and I think in critical care.
Hmm.
But still, I think the lungs are doing better now, which is good. And he still had all his mental faculties, which is great.
Yeah.
So the fact that we see a little positive light
Mm.
is great. And, every little thing counts in moments like this, right?
Mhm.
So the fact that we're seeing some movement in the,
Mhm.
in the right direction, we're
Mhm.
just going to continue to pray for his full recovery,
Mhm.
pray for his family, pray for the player that hit him. I can't remember his name either. Um, Pray
Was
for him as well. And just play for protect. I mean, every time Mikel starts a game, and I'm there where when they're singing the Star Spangled Banner, I'm
mm,
literally praying for him. I'm praying for all the
yeah,
players on the court,
yeah,
praying that God protect them from any injuries because, it's a game when it comes down
yeah,
to it. And it's not worth any injury. I know injuries do happen and,
and
you
definitely not
know,
worth your life.
right? It's not
So
100% not worth your
right,
life,
right.
but I'm praying for protection over those players that, God would protect them from injury. So let's continue to, wish him well and continue to look out for those who play in that game. That game and no football is no joke.
It's no joke.
Yeah.
It's not to be played with, and so I'm proud of what I've seen over social media. People really, really, I felt like were sending prayers up. I really felt it was genuine.
Yes.
I can't say I've always felt that about certain things that happen in the media, but this one particular situation, I think, was one that affected every single person who watched it.
Absolutely.
Apparently, except for Skip Bayless, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know
I don't know
what's
if
up
you
with that.
saw the tweet that he put out, and again, I don't know what his intentions were. Like you said, it's about intent, but
Yeah.
he said he doesn't take the tweet back. I don't know if you watched Undisputed, but Shannon didn't show up to work the following day, and when he
Yes.
did show up, he got interrupted by Skip, and it was like a whole thing. So I'm not sure where his head was at that time. I'm not gonna criticize him about that, but I'm proud of the world. I'm proud of the sports community for really, really, I can tell we're praying for him. And I think hopefully the prayers are what, have helped him. And obviously, I'm sure his will to fight. So,
Yeah. All
yeah.
right. Well, thank you guys. Please continue to follow Tipping the Scales wherever you get your podcast. Check us out on Insta. Check us out on YouTube and continue to
Share
be
with your
part of this.
friends. Send them.
Yes.
All you have to do is press that share button and send them. It's got a lot of things to motivate people. So,
Yes. Check us out. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for being a part of our family, part of our journey. And we can't wait to see you next time around. Bye.